Welcome to Bruges, the largest city in the Belgian province of West Flanders. This magnificent town enjoyed its golden age between the 12th and 15th centuries, when its access to the Northern Sea allowed it to become a thriving hub for luxury trade of the Middle Ages. Join us as we explore Bruges' medieval charm, centuries-old scenic canals, and picturesque views on this video tour of one of the most beloved romantic destinations among JayWay Travel guests.
The streets, the buildings, the atmosphere. Bruges transports you to the Middle Ages.
One of the first things you'll notice in Bruges city center is how its medieval charm never quite fades. That is due to the city's remarkable visual coherence. Very few structures stand out or overpower their surroundings. With its winding canals and photogenic corners at every turn, Bruges invites visitors to wander endlessly, naturally dispersing crowds across its enchanting streets. The city feels almost designed to make you feel like you're stepping back in history. And in a way, it is. Bruges is one of Europe's best preserved medieval towns, having largely escaped destruction in major world conflicts. However, its current appearance isn't the result of some unprecedented historical preservation. Despite what some marketing might suggest, Bruges didn't just freeze in time after its medieval heyday. That said, the city remains deeply historical. Its street layout has barely changed since the Middle Ages, evident in this unique 1562 city map, and many of Bruges' buildings have stood for centuries. But the idea that Bruges remained untouched since the 15th century overlooks an even more fascinating reality: the reason it looks like a fairy tale today. In the 19th century, Bruges became a favorite among proponents of the Gothic revival movement. Architects and preservationists, including the city's late 19th century architect Louis de la Sancerre, embraced its medieval character, restoring the city's exposed brickwork, cross-stepped gables, and uniform facades. This sparked a decades-long effort to recapture Bruges' medieval grandeur and established it as Belgium's premier historical destination. And they succeeded. Today, Bruges truly feels like a living fairy tale, a masterpiece of art, architecture, and history waiting to be explored. So it's time to look at some of its landmarks in more detail and
discover the charming and picturesque architecture of Bruges.
The skyline of Bruges is defined by three iconic towers. They peek out from behind every corner, crowning postcard-perfect views that are sure to fill your camera roll. In the marketplace of Bruges stands the belfry old and brown, thrice consumed and thrice rebuilded, still it watches o'er the town. These words, written by American poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow in 1845, remain just as true today. The Grote Markt, the city's historic central square, might have evolved over the centuries, but it remains Bruges' beating heart. Visit it on a Wednesday morning for a colorful market. And then enjoy the amazing views from the 272-foot-tall belfry, one of the oldest examples of medieval public architecture. Built in the 13th century, this watchtower once served as a lookout for fires and threats, as well as a secure storage for the city archives, charters, and treasures. Don't miss the Carillon and hear a unique concert performed on its 47 bells a few times a week by the official city carillonneur. The other two towers standing out of the cityscape are the Tower of St. Salvator's Cathedral and the Tower of the Church of Our Lady, the tallest structure in the city. Here, be sure to step inside the interiors of the church and see the many remarkable treasures on display, including Michelangelo's Madonna and Child. This stunning marble sculpture was brought to Bruges in 1504 by a wealthy merchant, and it remains one of the city's most prized artistic masterpieces. But Bruges is home to another, arguably more famous church safeguarding a precious item. Visit the Basilica of the Holy Blood, where you can catch a glimpse of a precious vial that many Christians believe contains the blood of Jesus Christ. This relic plays a central role in the procession of the Holy Blood, a tradition dating back to the Middle Ages that still continues to this day. The basilica is situated on the Burg, one of the oldest areas of the city center. Originally part of a walled fortress, this historic square served as a center of power in the city. Even today, the city council still meets here in the Bruges City Hall, a magnificent 14th century Gothic building. Its opulent design was a testament to Bruges' economic power and went on to inspire other civic architecture in the region, including the City Hall in Brussels. Step inside to dive deeper into Bruges' history and to see the monumental Gothic hall with its impressive 19th century murals. And just a 15-minute walk away lies another hidden gem, the Adornes Estate, still owned by the descendants of the merchant family who built it in the 15th century. The estate's crown jewel is the Jerusalemkerk, a private chapel of the Adornes family with its unusual layout. While visiting, explore the adjacent mansion and gardens or see the museum housed in former almshouses. Almshouses were small dwellings built by wealthy townspeople or guilds to support people in need, an early form of public housing. You can still find several of these small whitewashed residences dotting the city. But the even more famous example of Bruges' quiet, wide-fronted dwellings is undoubtedly the Beguinage, a gated community established in the 13th century. The Beguines were lay religious women who chose to live together in a community and dedicate their lives to God. But unlike their sisters under monastic orders, they didn't take vows or leave society, and they retained personal property, freedoms, and independence. Whether you want to learn more about their way of life or simply take a peaceful stroll through the serene courtyard, the Beguinage is a must-see on your visit to Bruges. The Beguinage offers some of the most iconic views in Bruges. But there's one spot even more famous and synonymous with the city, the Rosary Quay. A must-see for anyone with a functioning camera and a perfect place to capture the reflections on the water as you get ready for a vital experience while in Bruges.
A must-do when in Bruges is a tour of the city's canals.
The canals of Bruges have been central to the city's trade and industry for centuries, providing a quick and efficient way to move goods throughout the area. A highlight to any trip to Bruges is a peaceful boat trip along these canals. Landing stages are scattered around the city, making it easy to hop on and start your journey. From the water, you'll get a unique perspective on the town, taking in its innumerable stunning vistas while learning about Bruges' history from a knowledgeable guide. With most boat trips lasting between 30 minutes and an hour, it's a simple addition to any itinerary. Leaving Bruges without experiencing it by boat? That feels almost sacrilegious. To this day, the historical center of Bruges remains largely encircled by a moat that once flowed just beneath the city walls. Bruges was once a heavily fortified city until the late 18th century when the city walls were demolished to make way for expansion. Today, only a few remnants of these walls survive, such as several city gates. The former city ramparts, known as the Vesten, now form a lush green belt around almost the entire historic center. This area is perfect for a peaceful stroll, a picnic, or a relaxing bike ride. The Ramparts were once home to 25 windmills around the edge of the old city boundary, with 4 of them remaining today. One, the Sint Jans Heusmolen, is still active and open to visitors. Another must-see in the area is the expansive Minnewaterpark and its Lake of Love. You can hear the legend of the tragic romance that supposedly gave the lake its name, see the gunpowder tower, or simply enjoy a scenic walk. This is also a prime spot for bird watching, which brings us to one of Bruges' most photogenic residents, the Swans. A symbol of wealth and power since the 15th century, swans are a common sight around the city, particularly behind the Beguinage, where they are often fed. Over time, swans have become a symbol of Bruges, surrounded by numerous legends and stories. And just as swans are a symbol of Bruges, so is one of the city's most iconic crafts, lace. To learn more about this delicate art, head to the Kantzentrum. Once a lace school, it has since transformed into a center dedicated to the history and craft of lace making. Here you'll find an impressive exhibition, unique pieces on display, and perhaps the most valuable experience of all, live afternoon demonstrations. Watch skilled lace makers in action, ask questions, and admire the incredible patience and attention to detail required for this craft. Handmade lace is available to purchase at the Kantzentrum and throughout the city, and makes for a perfect souvenir to bring home. Fun fact, because lace is so delicate and difficult to preserve, historians have struggled to pinpoint its exact origin. However, one invaluable resource for studying ancient lace has proved a unique window into its beauty across the centuries: paintings. In fact, there was a group of renowned artists who became famous for their ability to capture such detail and texture. Let's now talk about the Flemish primitives. Artists like Jan van Eyck, Hans Memling, Gerard David, or Hieronymus Bosch represent this 15th and 16th century body of work, also referred to as the early Netherlandish painting. In a way, they were the Low Countries version of the Italian Renaissance, experimenting with new approaches and painting techniques under the patronage of Burgundian dukes. Their work is defined by intricate realism, attention to texture and material detail, and the mastery of oil painting. You can admire their masterpieces at the Groningen Museum, which showcases over 6 centuries of Flemish and Belgian art. It's a must visit for any art lover.
Bruges is also a great place to taste the best of Belgian cuisine.
Hearty Flemish onion soup, crispy croquettes, delicious mussels, or the iconic Belgian fries, which even have an entire museum dedicated to them in Bruges. Belgian cuisine has a lot to offer, and Bruges is chock full of amazing restaurants. But Bruges is also the ideal place to get to know one of Belgium's most famous inventions, the chocolate praline. Since the late 19th century, Belgian chocolates have become a global staple, and a balloton full of pralines remains one of the country's most ingenious creations. Bringing home a box of Belgian chocolates is a must, but here's a way to make that gift even more meaningful. Make the pralines yourself. For guests traveling with JayWay Travel, we recommend joining a chocolate workshop, offering a unique, hands-on experience in praline making. Not only will you create unforgettable memories, but you'll also leave with your own handcrafted chocolates. If you're short on time but still want to learn more, head to the Choco Story Chocolate Museum, where you can watch praline making demonstrations with commentary at the end of your visit. Another quintessentially Belgian tradition is its beer and brewing culture. Belgium is famous for beers of all colors, flavors, alcohol levels, and brewing methods. So much so that in 2016, Belgian brewing made it onto UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage. Bruges offers plenty of amazing opportunities to get more acquainted with this amazing beverage. A must-visit is De Halvemaan Brewery, a family-run business now managed by the 6th generation of brewers. A guided tour of the brewery will teach you more about the brewing process, the brewery's unique history of horse and cart beer deliveries, and their innovative beer pipeline that allows them to continue the tradition of brewing in the historical center without adding to the traffic congestion. The tour also offers stunning views of Bruges, but you can simply stop by the brewery's restaurant and taste their famous beer, Brugse Zot. Another opportunity to learn more about Belgian beer with tasting and scenic views is a visit to the Bruges Beer Experience Museum. While the museum takes a broader approach to Belgian beer in its exhibition, its central location and the views of the Grote Markt make it a worthwhile stop. Lastly, don't miss a peek at the open-air beer wall at the To Be shop, showcasing the impressive variety of Belgian beers. If you wish, stop by for a low-key beer tasting and take in the great views from their terrace. Bruges is a must-see destination when visiting Belgium. Whether you decide to stop by on a day trip from Brussels or follow our recommendation to spend several nights in this enchanting city, Bruges offers an atmosphere like no other, no matter the season. Plan your trip with us at JayWay Travel. We've been experts on European travel since 2006, and we can't wait to design your next trip itinerary based on your individual needs and interests. Tour Belgium with us and explore Brussels, the country's capital, which we've already covered in an informative video that you should watch next. Or extend your journey to other countries. Compare Bruges' canals with those of Amsterdam, or its romantic charm with that of Paris. We are here to help you create the trip of a lifetime, just as we do for hundreds of guests every year. Click the link in the video description to start planning today. We would love to hear your thoughts. Let us know in the comments what our next featured destination should be. And until then, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.